Welcome to the Beyond Cinema studio up here at Sundance, presented by Celebs.com. Stu Zicherman. Firstly, congratulations on having your film up here. Directorial debut, right?
Yes, sir.
For a feature film.
Yes.
Obviously, you've been involved in television before this.
Yes.
What does it mean making this transition? Was this always the goal? Were you always kind of working towards this, or was this kind of a lucky bonus?
I actually started out my career writing action movies.
Yeah.
And when I sold my first movie, I got an agent, and I remember sitting down, I was 25, I remember sitting down to the agent and saying, I'm not going to be one of those 30-year-old first-time directors, I'm doing it now, you know? And now, 15 years later, here I am. But TV was a great, I was stuck in action movies for a while, and you write lots and lots of them for the studios, and they don't get made, and it's really frustrating. And also, I didn't ever feel like I was writing some, things that felt like me.
Yeah.
So when I made the transition to TV, I had the great fortune. My first TV job was working with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
And who not only is like a genius, but is incredibly good at telling stories that, have a part of him in them. And TV really trained me to be a director, I think, because I directed movies and shorts in grad school. But when you're a showrunner on a television show, you are making every decision. You even sit with the director, for the tone meetings, every week.
Right.
You take them through every scene in the script and say, we want to do this, and we don't do this. And the director says, I want to move the camera here. No, we don't move the camera there.
Yeah, I don't think people fully appreciate that the showrunner's the guy.
Yeah. And so walking on set to direct the movie, I wasn't intimidated to be on set. It was just more a matter of, the biggest lesson I learned in TV when I first became a showrunner was, I remember thinking, I said to everybody, I can do this, I know how to do this, I've talked to lots of friends who've done it, but the learning curve is so steep, it beat me the first time. And I was not going to let that happen directing my first movie. I knew there was a learning curve. And I was like, this learning curve is not going to be you. Focus on a certain number of things, get the movie.
Did it feel like you almost had a luxury of time? Because TV happens so quickly and gets shot so quickly?
Well, no, we had no time to make the movie, but I knew how to handle it because of TV.
Yeah.
In TV, I never, ever let an episode begin, no matter what the director wants, no matter what the studio wants, whatever, without a schedule I think we can make.
Yeah.
And that was key with the movie because I would go through the schedule and, guys, I don't think we can make this day. You think, well, then we're going to have to move this. And I'd say, well, I'll just change the script. We'll cut.
Okay, talk to me about the cast for a second. Obviously, Adam Scott's the lead, but it's populated with a whole gang of people that are amazing, either amazing improvers or people that have even super serious movies here, like Mary Elizabeth Winstead last year and Smashed and stuff like that. So who was the first piece of that puzzle? Was it Adam? Yeah.
I always really wanted Adam to play the lead in this movie. Ever since I saw him in Party Down.
Yeah.
I loved, he's so funny and he's so human and he's kind of romantic, but not like obviously romantic. And he's got this perfectly cynical viewpoint on things. His characters always seem to have a really funny, cynical sort of viewpoint on things. And I thought that would work really well. But, I wanted funny people. I wanted people who, could, a divorce comedy is not such an obvious idea, and I wanted people who saw the humor in these situations. My family's divorce was tragic and sad, like Kramer versus Kramer and all that, but, there was hilarious moments, irreverent moments, and I wanted funny people who could sort of, find, the script was funny, but they could continue to mind the humor, and then also do the gravity of it, because it is about divorce.
And why did you choose, instead of, kind of writing the script, obviously you're talking about your family going through a divorce, so obviously bringing some personal stuff to it. So then why did you choose a co-writer? I mean, obviously Ben Carlin has this huge name, is one of the guys who started the Colbert Report, worked on The Daily Show and all this sort of stuff, so obviously you guys, J.J. Abrams' crew and his crew getting together, it's kind of like a marriage of craziness.
Here's a crazy story. So Ben Carlin and I are friends from birth. Our parents were friends when we were born. So Ben lived in Boston, I lived in New York, and our families used to go visit each other all the time, and we were like literally childhood friends.
Right.
And we both ended up in the business, and something very funny happened. We were 10 years old, we're walking in Quincy Market, right? I was 10, Ben was 8. and with my sister and his sister, and our parents were all walking behind us. We're walking through Quincy Market, and I said, "Do you know how we all know each other?" And Ben said, "Oh yeah, my parents were friends with your mom's first husband." And I said, "Who?" I had no idea my mom had been married before.
Wow.
And so
You were just a kid.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
And Ben was so humiliated. But when we grew up and we both ended up in the business, I was busy writing movies and TV shows, and Ben was on The Daily Show, and I wanted to I had this idea in my head, and I wanted to write with somebody, and I thought Ben would be the perfect person because he's so funny. He understood the whole culture of divorce that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And so we jumped into it together, and we had so much fun doing it.
Have you since met your mum's first husband?
No, that guy has been cut out of the wedding album.
Wow.
Cut out. My grandfather cut it out.
So in terms of this film,
Yeah.
and have you shown a cut of it to either of your parents or both of you?
I have, yeah. They I don't want to say this on camera, only because I wouldn't want to call my parents this term, but it's a word that starts with an N and rhymes with pessimistic. And so my parents saw the movie, they don't recognize themselves at all. I mean, it's not them,
Right.
And then they said, "You come across as much more effed up than we do." So, cool.
was that something in the back of your mind? Was it any sort of fear level? I know comedians do it all the time on stage. They kind of pull these personal references, and either
Sure.
the family gets to tune it out or not.
Yeah, I mean, again, I did make a movie, that was about my life as much as about feelings and emotions I had, and and comedic moments. My mom sat us down after my dad left, and said, "Sweetie, I don't want you to be upset, but your father's a homosexual." And I'd just been with my dad and his 24-year-old girlfriend the day before. She just needed to say those things. That shit was funny to me, So I put that in the movie, stuff like that. But the movie's not autobiographical. It's just about a subject that I find funny and real.
I kind of find it kind of amazing as well. In terms of a first-time film director,
Yeah.
did these people kind of know you already from TV?
No.
Did you have to convince them that you were kind of, yeah, cool, I'm on top of all this stuff? Did you meet, what do you do in terms of your actors? Do you meet them in a coffee shop somewhere? Or do you just send them a script and hope they like it?
Well, I've spent a lot of years in the business writing all these things,
Yeah.
just trying to earn goodwill. I mean, my advice to everyone is always don't, be nice to everybody, even people you don't like, because you never know, because I knew the day I could get this movie made, I was going to call in every favor I ever could. And so as soon as I had Adam attached, I would try and get meetings. We attached the casting director, and we would try and get meetings, send the script out to people, and I'd meet with them.
Did you show them anything other than the script?
No, I mean, that's the thing. I had one movie I directed 15 years ago in film school. I didn't want to show them that.
Yeah.
It was just, people had to go on blind faith on me, and and I still am I don't know what I did right, but I ended up with the funniest, most incredible cast. I mean, I met with, Adam has a lot of relationships. He'd known Jane, and so I asked him if he could get us to Jane, and he was nice enough. But she just loved the part.
Yeah.
Amy, all of them. But getting Richard and Catherine was the coup for me. They were the two people I wanted for the parents.
Yeah.
And I met with Catherine. Had come in to read for us. Not read for us, sorry. Catherine, we had done a reading in L.A., and Catherine came in to read the part that Jane originally played. And when I saw her and how great she looked and how fantastic she was, I wanted to give her a bigger part.
Yeah.
And
I kind of love that both Catherine O'Hara and Jennifer Coolidge have movies up here at
how cool is that, right?
Because they're both so
They should
amazing.
put them on stage
I
together.
know, they should just walk around together always.
Catherine O'Hara tells me, every story from her is about her summer home in Toronto that's right next to Martin Short's house. And how they spend the whole summer just hanging out barbecuing. And I just want to be at one of those barbecues.
Right, a fly on the beef.
Oh,
That would be cool. But what I like is you got this old school DP,
yeah,
John Bailey,
yeah,
who shot Ordinary People.
yeah. I told Redford that.
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a Sundance Connect, and then you've got the guy who did the music for, he became Devotchka or whatever, did the music for Little Miss Sunshine.
I know, right?
So in terms of Sundance street cred,
I know.
you're on top of it.
I'm the luckiest I'm gonna look. I can't even believe it. The people I got to work on this movie, and it really came down to like John Bailey, right? 70 years old. He's been working in the business for 45 years.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Ordinary people. The Big Chill.
Yeah.
Okay. Shows up in a Starbucks on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and he had read the movie and spoke more eloquently about it and more thoroughly about it and how it should be approached and all this stuff than any other young, hip, cool DP of the moment that I met. And there's something like incredibly comforting about it that, like I said to you before, I didn't want the learning curve to beat me, and I knew there were things, I have a very vivid imagination about what I want to do with the camera, and I wanted someone who knew how to do it to say, like, you know what, I don't think we have time for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I loved him.
Yeah. And Amy Poehler, just quickly, obviously straight back off the back of her hosting the Globes.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did.
What do you think?
I think Amy Poehler can do anything in the world, and I'm so excited for people to see this movie because she, we all know how funny she is. I think she took the part because she plays the evil stepmom, and I think that she brings a humanity to this character. There's a moment at the end of the movie where she brings a humanity to the character that I don't think many people could do it, and she can do anything, really anything. She's also the funniest person in the world. We have a scene in the movie where the house is on fire, and she runs in and screams like, we know the house is on fire, but she runs in and screams, the house is on fire. And basically, she wanted to do it 10 times and just run out and run in, just leave the camera rolling and just try different things. And I have to show that to some people at some point.
I'm sure it's going to be Blu-ray, DVD,
yeah, I mean,
all that
it's
sort of
the
stuff.
funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have also been, were there takes ruined by not laughing and stuff like that? Yeah.
Well, we would do a take, once I got the script, once I got what was written, or something close, we would do a take for fun. And so with these actors, I'd say literally don't even worry about any lines, just do it.
Yeah.
And, we got genius stuff. And who else is really funny who's in the movie is Clark Duke.
Yeah.
Who again, I really wanted, you get all these funny people together, and especially people who've worked together, and they have certain things that they used to do, like, Jane and Adam have a history from Party Down.
Yeah.
And I have all these scenes with Jane and Adam sitting like this, and I have to figure out a way to change the dynamic so it's not, and they're older and they're more mature and they're more experienced. But what I loved about my cast is that they're all so funny, and they're so funny in the movie, but they trusted me for whatever reason to push themselves to find the stakes. Because again, at the end of the day, I wanted there to be gravity to the movie.
Yeah.
And they all did, and I think that made them proud of it, and it makes me incredibly proud of it.
That's very cool, but I do want to tell people that if they get a chance to, Clark Duke, obviously Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah.
But have you read his bio?
It's the funniest thing in the world.
He's very, right? Just for people listening to this.
How can you describe? I want to hear you describe his bio.
Basically, it's Marlon Brando's bio,
yeah.
And he substitutes his own name in there.
With crossouts.
Yeah, with crossouts, so you can see that Marlon Brando was crossed out.
He's so funny.
Very funny. Yeah. Well, congratulations on having this amazing cast, bring it all together for Sundance.
Thank you.
First feature.
Thank you.
Congratulations, mate.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.